Shortly after taking office, the Ford government scrapped an overhaul of an Indigenous-focused curriculum in the province initiated by the previous government. This week, they launched their replacement, a new First Nations, Métis, and Inuit Studies curriculum for secondary school students. Haley Lewis heads up our hub that covers Indigenous issues. She's been looking into that, among other things, and she joins us now from Ottawa via Skype. Welcome to the show, Haley.
Hey, Jan.
Now, you had a good look at the curriculum that's been posted online. Was there anything on there that stood out to you?
Yeah, I had a look over and my initial thought was, wow, these courses are cool. And I wish I had had the opportunity to take them when I was in high school. But, on further inspection, one of the biggest things that stood out is the fact that these classes aren't mandatory. So what does that mean? So as I said before, I would have loved to have taken them. So I definitely would have taken all the classes if they had been offered. But I don't think I'm necessarily the intended audience, nor am I the person who really needs to hear or learn this information the most. So how many students are going to take them is really something that's kind of like plaguing my mind at the moment. And I think that's the biggest thing. There's also, it's being offered for 9 through 12, and it'll be available in the upcoming school year. But yeah, biggest thing is, why isn't this mandatory?
Now, for the record, there are 10 courses being offered. Do we know exactly what will be taught in those classes and when they'll be taken and who exactly will be in them?
Yeah, so we don't really know. The curriculum update did outline the courses pretty well. So you have a good sense of exactly what's going to happen. They're not all under the history umbrella. You've got English classes as well that will include Indigenous writers. But we're not exactly sure of how it's all going to roll out and whether every school is going to actually be able to offer each and every single one of the courses, especially because of the recent teacher cuts. It brings into question, are we even going to have enough teachers able to teach these elective courses, especially when schools have already had to cut some of their elective courses. I also think of the teachers, are they ready to teach these courses? Do they have enough training to really go in depth on Indigenous culture and history? How much training will be provided? Because I can't imagine them hiring a bunch of new teachers specifically to teach these courses. So yeah, there's a lot of up in the air. We don't exactly know what's going to happen come September. I'd be curious to see, how many of the 10 courses each high school is able to offer.
All right, and just to clarify, it is secondary courses, so it'd be students from 9 to 12, right?
Yes, 9 through 12.
Now, the government said in its release that the curriculum is the result of collaboration with Indigenous teachers, elders, knowledge keepers, and First Nations. Education Minister Lisa Thompson also quoted in that release, and we have a board of that, "We are committed to ensuring that Indigenous perspectives are present in Ontario's curriculum. We look forward to continuing strong partnerships with Indigenous leaders and the community, and this represents an important step in our ongoing collaboration." I want to key in on that last word, collaboration. What are Indigenous leaders saying about that level of collaboration?
So not good things. So what really happened is that there was consultation done before the Conservatives took power. So the Liberals did do the consultation, but once the Conservatives took power, there wasn't extra consultation done. Leaders are really frustrated over the fact that these courses aren't mandatory and that, they weren't consulted. Sol Mamakwa, who's the NDP official opposition critic for Indigenous Relations and Reconciliation, said it's disheartening and frustrating to see the voices of Indigenous communities ignored once again. And Anishinaabe Aski Nation Grand Chief Alvin Fiddler said a similar thing. They're all just very, very frustrated that necessary people weren't consulted for the end product, and they're really curious about how this consultation is going to happen as we move forward.
Now, you had mentioned the former government's work on their Indigenous curriculum last spring. What's the main difference between what was promised from that government to what's been delivered here?
The biggest thing is the fact that they were okay and not okay. They were happy to have, I think, the courses be mandatory. So that's the biggest thing. The Liberals were like, yes, this will be mandatory, but with the curriculum update that we've seen now, we know that these are elective courses. So that's really the biggest thing that we're seeing. Also, the fact that it was canceled is kind of and then, redone is kind of a big deal as well. And the consultation aspect is something that's different too, is everyone's pretty I don't know, not concerned, but curious as to how this is going to go as we move forward.
Now, does this curriculum align with the recommendations laid out by the Truth and Reconciliation Commission?
So not exactly. I think it toes the line. It's call to action number 62, which called for across the province for this Indigenous education to be mandatory in K through 12. And with the curriculum update, we've seen that these will be elective courses that are offered through 9 through 12. So not really exactly in line with it, but towing the line.
Now, you've been busy working on a bunch of other stories as well, including one on the reconciliation from a business perspective. In your article, you talk about economic reconciliation. Break that down for us.
Yeah, so in the simplest of terms, the best way I could put it would be that what we're trying to do is get Indigenous entrepreneurs on an equal playing field. It's really about economic equality. So pre-contact, if you look at communities had these vast trade networks, and there was a lot, a lot going for the communities. And in a business sense, pre-contact, things were going relatively well. But post-contact, things have been a bit different. The Indian Act was imposed, reserve systems happened, which put Indigenous people far away from the market. So there's a lot of things that have really kind of made it impossible for Indigenous entrepreneurs to be kind of on the same playing field. So economic reconciliation is really trying to tackle that and trying to get everyone the equal opportunities.
I'm curious to know how they're exactly breaking down those financial barriers for these entrepreneurs.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a bunch of different stuff being done. I only spoke to 3 people based in Ontario, and there's stuff being done all across the country. One of the things is the National Aboriginal Capital Corporations Association. They kind of run Aboriginal financial institutions across the country. So what these financial institutions do is they deal with high-risk lending, and it's considered to be high risk if you're lending to Indigenous people because of some of the barriers that I mentioned before. So they're really making it possible for Indigenous entrepreneurs to get their businesses up and running. They've got a 97% return on investment, which is incredible. There's also organizations like the Anishinaabe Business Professionals Association, which just launched in March, and they're there really to mentor and really help Indigenous entrepreneurs succeed from the procurement process to working with contracts, and really just making sure that, that we're on that equal playing field and we have our feet in the door.
Now, you had mentioned you spoke to 3 entrepreneurs, 3 companies there. Any interesting projects that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, so one of the coolest things, this was a common thread between all 3, is that they're starting these databases. So when you look at the National Aboriginal Capital Corporations Association, of the 46,000 loans they've given out, they want to put those businesses in this database so that if, say, you're in Toronto and you want an Indigenous carpenter, you're able to find that. Or if you're in Halifax, so that is an opportunity. And that's something that the other 2 organizations I spoke with as well are trying to do. And what's interesting is the Southern First Nations Secretariat. So they're doing a database as well, which makes me think that maybe we should conglomerate all of these databases so that we'd have this big master list. So maybe I'll get back to them on that. But what they're doing is looking at really skills that didn't come from a certification. So say you've been doing providing childcare for 30 years, but you don't have your ECE, you would still be available on that database, and people could look at your really in-depth experience. And that's a huge thing in communities, is a lot of people might not necessarily have those exact certifications, but they have the training, they've got the skill, and they're ready to go. So yeah, I would say that's the biggest thing.
All right, some really interesting stuff. And of course, we'll keep an eye on the curriculum as we get more details from that. Thanks again. This is Haley Lewis, our hub that covers Indigenous issues in Ottawa. Thanks again so much.
Thank you.
The Agenda with Steve Bacon is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.